Hello friends, today we build a box to store some chisels. Stay tuned! Alright, this is part 1 of 2 of build number 1 of the 2017 box building collaboration that I've got going on. This is going to be great for this entire year. Every 3 weeks you're going to see a box. I make part 1 and part 2 is made by my collaborative YouTube channel, Friends. So this week we are going to be working with Wes Hamstra, and Wes got 4 chisels and a chisel sharpener that he wanted to store. So I made a box. This is made out of pine with box joints, and I had some like 1/8 inch material hardboard-ish thing up here, and I cut rabbets in for the lid, and I cut a rabbet in for the base. Doesn't look too pretty right now, but I'm going to be sending this to Wes, and he is going to finish it up. So be sure to catch part 2 of that build. You can click this link, or the link is in the description as well. Should be lots of fun. So let's get started. So our first box is going to be used to store some chisels, 4 chisels and a sharpener. And I am making it simply out of pine. I still have some pine boards left over from all of those holiday gifts that I made. I have a pine, and I have this, I mean, it's barely over 1/8 of an inch. It's a kind of a floppy board, but I think it's going to be rigid enough if I cut in some rabbets on the bottom and on the top to make this a lid and to make it the base. I know there's marks on here, but if I use the 15 inches in this section, I should be good. Use the dirty part on the bottom and the cleaner part on the top, and then Wes can finish it however he wants. Now, as usual on my piece of scrap, my insides will measure 14 by 6.5 inches, and then it's just a simple box. We're going to be using box joints to join the edges, and the top is going to probably slide in, as I have it in my head right now, and the bottom is going to be rabbeted in and wedged permanently, and I'll probably put some feet and other decorative touches on it. So let's get started. Now I'm going to cut off this live edge here and cut this board to 2 pieces at about 3 inches wide. Same for the long board. Alrighty, now this here is a box joint sled, or a finger joint sled, jig, whatever you prefer. Made this last year, slides in my tracks like so. What I'm going to be doing is taking these and making small finger-like cuts progressively along the inside. So the cuts are going to line up like your fingers interlocking. Doing this for all 4 sides, making sure that they line up properly as I'm cutting them, and it adds a nice effect. So let's get cutting. Alright, now all of those box joints have been cut, and you can see already, even without any glue, this is nice and strong. Of course, I could easily distort it out of place, but once it's glued up, it'll be perfect. So, pretty good job. That was my first time putting together all of those cuts. And you know, it's easy to get mistaken when you're making finger joints as to where the tops are supposed to line up. So I put TNT. You know, you have to, when you finish one board, you have to bump up the top of the last board to the top of the new board, and then they'll sit perfectly. And I had to sit and scratch my head for a little bit just to wrap my mind around how that was supposed to work out. But we figured it out in the end. So now what I'm going to do is take these apart, like a book, and I'm going to do a rabbet, probably a 1/4 of an inch from the bottom and from the top. This is going to go all the way around in the bottom for a base and all the way around in the top. And once that top part's going to get cut off, I'm going to pick one of the sides and cut the entire top off, and that'll be a flush fit for the lid that I'm going to make. It'll make sense when you see it, trust me. So, onward. Alright, now if you caught my mistake when I was putting these rabbits in, then good for you. Apparently I can't do something as simple as read 3 and 1 and 3 and keep them matched together. I even marked O for outside on here and I still made a mistake. And I ultimately put the rabbits on the wrong side of this end board here. This is how it's supposed to line up, but instead I cut it like this. So I'm going to make an adjustment to this piece because otherwise the rabbits on the inside here, they won't line up. So what I'm going to do is essentially recut these, just configure them slightly differently, and then cut off the top. And this is the direction where the lid is going to slide into. So I was going to have it go the long way, but now I'll have it go the short way. Design aspect. Now that we've solved that problem, the lid, as you can see, slides on just fine back and forth. So my last two steps, I'm going to make a bit of a decorative piece that's going to go on here to grab in a sliding portion. And then at the bottom, I'm going to make four very simple legs to go in the corners, just so this has a little bit of a decorative standing effect. And then my part of the build will be finished. This should ship nicely to Ontario for finishing. Special thanks to Wes Hamstra for being my very first collaborator of this box building collaboration. We've got 5 others lined up at this point right now, but I'm hoping more will come so we can do this throughout the entire year. So this box was interesting. Lots of mistakes, as I'm sure you saw, not only miscounting and mislabeling my 1s and 3s, but also I've got a kerf on my blade that's at an angle like this, so the box joints, here, let me get up close, I hope this is focusing. The box joints are not that tight. When you're gluing it, if you add a little bit of sawdust, or if you paint it over, you're never going to see it. But I should probably get a flat kerf blade to fix that problem in the future. And then, I don't know if it was a warped piece of wood or what, but I had to add feet, and a foot just fell off, but I had to add feet to the bottom here. And one foot is just slightly thicker than the rest, and that's this one right here, and that's going to keep this thing balanced. You probably shouldn't have to do that, you know, if you're building a nice box. But since this is just going to be for chisels, I think it should be just fine. Now, as you saw, this is being disassembled, and it's going to be shipped to Wes, so can't wait to see how that works out. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. While you're here, be sure and subscribe. I got about 150 videos. You're bound to like something else. And then I've got a Patreon page if you'd like to contribute directly to what you see as well. Be sure to check out part 2. Until next time, bye!